Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Permission Mission Show. My name is Mary McElhatton. I am your host today. And I want to talk to you. There was a time that I was visiting the local grocery store, Albertsons to be exact. I was standing in line and there was a woman and a gentleman in front of me. It was apparent that she had some health issues going on, and we struck up a conversation. And I had, asked her, how she's doing and what was going on. And she was pretty simple about, she didn't go into detail, but it was apparent that things were not looking good for her. She had told me that she was tired. She told me that she was frustrated with her family, that she really didn't know what to do. And she basically told me that she wanted to go and her family didn't want her to, but nobody was talking and she was just tired. I was stunned by connecting with a person so quickly and so intimate by her telling me that she was going to be passing soon. And I really didn't know what to say. I was froze in my shoes. I just kind of told her, I smiled at her and I said, I asked her name. I said, I'll keep you in my thoughts. And then I ended the conversation. Now, why do I share this story with you is because what I do for a living is I do help people prearrange. I make sure that people are educated and aware of what final arrangements can look like and how things can be better planned out when we have the opportunity. So by time I was walking out to my car, I wanted to go back and see if there was anything I could do to help her, and I couldn't find them. They were nowhere in the parking lot. I tell you, it has haunted me to this day. And today's show is going to be in honor of that woman. I never saw her again. And I made a vow in the car that day that if I ever came into a situation that was similar to that, that I would speak up and I would let them know what I do for a living and how important it is to talk about our mortality if we have the opportunity to. And we don't have to be alone in all of this. And we certainly don't have to be frustrated about something that's already hard enough. So, this show today, which will be talking about death etiquette, is going to be in honor of her. Again, I don't know who she is, but I do hope that this speaks to somebody out there who may be who may be in the same situation. Maybe you have a loved one or yourself is going through some health issues and you're not quite sure to bring up the conversation or to say what you want to say because nobody in the family wants to talk about it. And I get it. I would be uncomfortable too. I was uncomfortable and I had prior experience. But because this has been such a silent conversation, it's almost like we've been conditioned to not talk about it. So talking about it somewhat feels a little bit wrong. I today, though, take a stand boldly and proudly and out loudly speak about mortality so that we are just better educated and we do not have to stay in this silence. So here's the interesting thing. I was thinking about the concept of, or the subject of today's show, death etiquette. And etiquette obviously is just making sure that we're learning ways to be kind to one another, that we're learning etiquette about, on the road. How are we sharing the road? What is the etiquette on the road? I would say living in Las Vegas, some days the etiquette is good and some days it's not so great. When I was thinking about all the different things I've learned over the years, I'm not here to say that they're wrong, okay? There is etiquette already in place when it comes to mortality that are working. Today I'm just going to share with you a few of the ideas that I've come across that I don't think are working. And here's the problem though. I need you and I need your help for us to really answer this question together. Because when it comes to, there's kind of like two groups. We've got a group A, which is like me, who have had loss, and we know as far as what comes with that, and the pain and the anger and the frustration and the uh, finances that go into planning, the decisions that have to be made at a really sad day. And then you have the others who are just in line because none of us are getting out of this. I love what my mom says. She says, "Listen, Mary, we're all in line together and we will be called accordingly." And that's just how it's going to go. So you can see the separation because the people who have had loss are basically conditioned to only talk with people who have had loss. The other group are the people who are in line, but they're at risk. So we need these two people and these two groups to be talking together because that's how we're going to come up with some death etiquettes that are going to work and just improve a little bit better by the ways that we're handling death today. So, some of the things that I come up with that do not work. So, why is etiquette important? I wrote this down. Etiquette helps us to be mindful about our conduct. Think about that. So, our conduct. I shared with you, I didn't know what to say to this woman in the grocery store, and she wanted to talk with me. She was opening up to me, and yet I froze. I didn't know how to conduct myself. I was more worried about saying the wrong thing than actually just being with her and hearing what she needed and being okay to say, "Look, this is what I do for a living." But I didn't. That would be a different situation today, I promise you. Things of the things over the years that I found that do not work is obviously the very first one is simply not talking about it. That is not going to work for any of us. We need each other to talk. We need each other to lean on. We need to teach one another how to conduct ourselves from the person who had the passing to the person who's still in line because the answer lies within there. That's the gap that permission mission is going to bridge so that everyone's talking, especially when it comes to something we're all involved with. I would want to know a little bit more about it, and I'm sure that you would too. Uh, Trying to fix something that's broken. Now, I'm just going to share an example. I had a woman who had lost a child, and we were in a group setting, and she had really broken down. And for the first time, I believe she was able to just speak about her pain, speak about what was going on for her, and let her feel. And what I noticed right away was people wanting to rush to her to comfort her. I get that. Comforting is fine and it's good, but what happened is it interrupted her train of thought. It interrupted her getting out the rest of what she had inside. And see, I'm not sure if that was helpful. I think that took a little bit from her, and we're not meaning to do this. No, we're not. We're not meaning to interrupt somebody on purpose. However, if she would have kept going, I think she would have gotten more out than she had been able to ever and been able to feel like it's like she's not doing anything wrong. Sometimes we'll interrupt people because it makes us uncomfortable, and that's not necessarily good for the other person. So, again, this is what I know that I have just observed where I'm more mindful to allow someone who's sharing how they're feeling about their loss, whether it's angry or mad or sad or even happy. I've talked about that in prior shows. Some people feel a relief. We don't know their situation. We don't know how painful it was to see that person suffering, and they feel a relief. However, some people may judge that. And I'm simply here to say, look, we can't do this wrong if we're openly talking together. Making a person feel wrong about the way that they're grieving, that kind of is in alignment with what I just shared. Uh, you can't do this wrong. I have seen fights break out. I am from a family who had a lot of arguing, bickering, and fighting because we just did not know how to deal with our emotions. And everybody had different emotions going on at the same time. Had we had some of these tools back then, I know we would have handled things a little differently. And I think the best thing for a family is just do your best not to take it personal, not only for the person who didn't have the loss, but also the person who had the loss. Because remember, they're running on emotions as well, and they may say things that they're not really meaning to say, but they're just saying them because it's coming out and they need to get things off their chest, or they're so loaded with all kinds of all kinds of decisions and all kinds of people looking at them on how they're going to deal with what they're about to deal with. And it's got to be the most overwhelming feeling. Look, I have been a sister who has lost siblings. I have been a daughter who's lost my stepfather and father. I have been an aunt who has lost her niece to and her two children. And as far as somebody like losing a child or losing a spouse or losing, that best friend that you've known your whole life that listens to all your problems every day and all of a sudden is gone, I can't imagine, that how that must feel for them. Again, having to process everything in a very short amount of time, and then other people are watching them to figure out how to do life moving forward without the person they loved. Again, we don't have the answers. That person who lost someone important to them does not have the answers. But I think on the other side, I'm seeing where people are looking for that person to have the answers, or they're looking for people to help them not feel uncomfortable or not feel the pain. Just stay with me on this. Again, we're learning. I don't have all the answers, but I know that I'm an expert in helping people get more comfortable talking about mortality so that they have some tools and they are prepared. And we're normalizing the conversation for ourselves and everybody else around us, and especially for the generations coming up behind us. Because if we don't, I truly believe there's just going to be more harm than there is help. The interesting fact, so when there are weddings, right? Well, the bride has to walk down the middle of the aisle. So I understand how there's a section for the bride's family and a section for the husband. In a funeral home, it doesn't matter. I would love to see where people are just sitting amongst everybody, just no matter where they're sitting, because I have been the family where it was like, "Oh, wait, am I supposed to sit over here? Am I supposed to sit over there? Who's going to get mad?" Listen, when it comes to this, sit wherever you want to sit. It doesn't matter where you're going to sit because we're all in this. And no matter where you sit is going to be the best seat for you just to be with that family and to also take in the knowledge that a funeral setting gives to us. It allows us to learn how to be present. It allows us to not think about all the stresses of life. You're not thinking about paying bills and you're not thinking about planning vacations. Most times we're so present that I think it's the best audience to capture people's attention, to be able to say the things that people are willing to listen to. I know for me, I've sat in many funerals and many funeral services, and I simply just want to be present and just give love and appreciation and also learn how to do it better with my own family. Meaning, what have I done to make sure that my family will show up on that day on my behalf and have things in order? Big one. We have a lot of opportunities to take advantage of social media. I love social media. I think it's the best thing in the world. My mom, I I have my mom on Facebook now. Yeah, almost 89. She's on Facebook. She says she doesn't get on there much, but I do see that she stalks the family because she'll call me and say, "Mary, have you heard such and such and what they're doing? Have you seen such and such?" And I go, "Mom, have you been on Facebook? Have you been learning things on Facebook about the family? Pick up the phone and call them. That'd probably be a better way to get the direct uh, response from the person." Facebook is awesome. All the social mediums are awesome. Uh, However, or the social venues, they're awesome. Please, the best etiquette is to never post anything about any person who's passed away to where the family hasn't done it first. That's just common sense, and that is definitely having the best interest for the family, because we've heard it. Some of the celebrities out there, things are posted ahead of time, and that's devastating to them. It would be devastating for us. I'm not a celebrity, but I am going to die one day, and I think I matter just as much as anybody else. But the family who's seeing these posts, that is only going to make matters worse, and it stirs up trouble that doesn't need to be stirred up because they already are going to be dealing with so much. So please, the proper thing to do is never post anything until the family has posted it themselves. And that's basically them saying you're welcome to go in and post. You're welcome to share what you have to share, because they're saying, that they've done it, and they're acknowledging their loved one passing, and now it's open range for others to share what they want to share about that person and what they meant to them. Basing a decision about a person, basing decisions when a person is grieving. So, decisions that we're making, don't hold them against the different people. Again, both sides, the person who have lost somebody that you love to the people who are still in line. Don't, I mean, it's just better to just listen. I have found the most appropriate way to dealing with mortality is just to be in their moment, just to listen, and even say, "I've heard it." And it's so powerful. It's when a person says, "I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do, but I want to be here for you." And I've seen how the family is just so much more relaxed. Like they're not having to perform or do anything or make people comfortable or uncomfortable. It's just people being in each other's moment. And it's precious to witness, because I think that's really what we're all looking for. We are all looking just to be acknowledged and just to figure out how we can get through another day on this crazy earth and and just breathe. So, we're going to take a break here in a moment. Please stay tuned. Stay tuned on the WWDBTV.com YouTube and also website, and also Permission Mission Facebook and Mary McElhatton Facebook. Stay tuned. We'll see you right back in a few minutes.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training need.
My name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising. My name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We've worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here. We've had callbacks here. We've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space, chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
Welcome back to the Permission Mission Show. My name is Mary Hatton. Thank you for joining me here today. I am talking about mortality. That is always the topic of this show, talking about the hard stuff so we can start enjoying some good stuff, being educated about an event that each and every one of us are going to have in our lives one day if we haven't already experienced it. Certainly will make a difference by everybody talking openly together and just sharing some things that are going to help us better plan for the future and also for today. I was talking earlier about how we have two different teams. We've got Team A, who is the team who have had loss and who understand that it's very painful, and we have Team B, who is the team that is in line. So we are at risk no matter how we look at it. And my goal is to get these two teams talking together so we can come up with some better etiquette on how to deal with mortality so people aren't sitting in their hearts alone and thinking that it's not okay to talk about something we can talk about. I have had some comments on the show. Hello from Central Texas. Meredith, thank you, girl, for posting all the way from Texas. Amazing work. Howard, my friend Howard, and Kim, I believe they're in Utah. They are doing some great work themselves, and I appreciate that, Howard and Kim. Yeah, I'm not going to stop. I will continue, hopefully, to be known as the woman who's not afraid of talking about death. Now, if you ask me if am I afraid of dying, yeah, I don't want to be there for that event. I'm going to be there some way. And I always reassure my kids, listen, I won't be there physically that day, but I will be there emotionally because you are going to see that I put my mark on it, that I made these decisions ahead of time, that I thought things out because I've so enjoyed my life that my death is going to be enjoyable as well, to the extent of honoring it. It's not planning our death. It's truly just planning the life well lived, no matter what amount of time that we get. It's different for everybody, and there's no wrong way when you are talking openly, proudly, and boldly about a conversation that each and every one of us have permission to do. So I was talking about etiquette, and I come up with some things that I think that I don't think are working as well. And the only way, though, we're really going to come up with some etiquette tips is by everybody talking together, getting people to speak with. Like the mother who lost a child, who thinks that maybe the other mother who has their child could not help them. I just invite you that I think the mother who has a child is at risk. And the only way that we're going to learn how to be with one another, whether it's one who still has her child and one who doesn't, is by talking together, helping one another to say what things feel better than some of the things that I've heard over the past that don't. For instance, like children should outlive their parents. That's not true from a parent who has lost their child. So, uh, avoiding another thing that I've seen over the years is obviously being in avoidance of it or avoiding the situation. I believe that attending funerals is the best place to get grounded, to get back on track with your own life, to appreciate the things that you have. We talk about it, we say, oh, what do be appreciative, be grateful. Well, that's kind of hard living in a really rough world that's always got a lot of things going on that we don't necessarily like, that are out of our control. But attending a funeral, it will ground you to a place that truly, I believe, as a person on this planet to grow and to learn, it helps us to grow and to learn. It helps us to be appreciative, more so than just thinking about all the problems of the world. Because when you're at a funeral, you're not thinking about anything else. You are present. You want to be there for the family. You want to show love and you want to show your respects. And obviously, it also helps us think about our own mortality. If this were us, if this were me, how would this be for my family that day? Have I thought about all those little details that'll make it a little gentler on them because they'll already be having a tough time because I'm their mom and I think they're going to miss me. I'm going to set it up in such a way, though, that they can miss me and they also know that I've spoken about this in advance. Uh, one of the things, another thing that I think was, and this is personal experience, so I'm just gonna share because this is the show that we can talk about hard stuff. When I was 14 and my brother passed away, wow, there was so much love. There were so many people that came and showed their respects and were there, and people cooking meals and people doing these wonderful, kind things. And I truly appreciate it. If I were honest, I think that was the first time that I actually felt love from other people. Like it was really special. And then within just a couple weeks, there was nobody. It was just suddenly just done. And here I'm looking at my parents going, do I step in now? I'm 14. I don't know what to do. Uh, they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't have other people to talk about it. We're children. We just want our parents' love. All of a sudden, that it's not that they didn't love us, but we didn't feel it because they were mourning and grieving and in all of their emotions. And we just simply didn't talk about it anymore. And there was nobody around. And I think back to that day and I thought, geez, where's all those people that were loving on us? Where's all those people that said they were going to, they're here for us? But now I'm also going, well, we never told them how they needed to be there for us. We didn't know. But today we're going to know. Today we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure it out together. Because I think we can say how we need a person to be there. I think the person all of us would be more like, yes, I want to be there that way. I can do that. But it being kind of in the clouds and like, yeah, I want to be there for you, but I'm the person not telling them how they need to be there for them. There's no win situation in that. And that's what causes a lot of frustration. Uh, if you're going to shower people in a family with love and all of that, I would say just check in with them. Don't be concerned about if it's the wrong time to call. If it's on your heart, that family most likely would love a call or a text or a card or a message. Somehow, just reach out to them and say you're thinking of them. I do believe, though, the person who has had the loss is also needing to go through all of what they have to go through. I love what my mom did. I remember after the loss of my second brother, I was a mother at that time. So now I know what it felt like being a mother who would, again, be at risk if one of my children passed away. My mother was a mother and lost her third child at that point. And I was like, Mom, how are you going to do this? How are you? This is just breaking my heart. Before I didn't have children, but now I do. And she looked at me and she said, Mary, listen, you're going to learn in life to change the things that you can and keep away from the things that you can't. And what I've learned about grief is put a time limit on it. I have children, other children, I have grandchildren, I have things that I have to take care of. So I'll take my moments that I need. I'll be alone. If you see my door shut, that means it's my time. But I'll put a time limit on it and I'll be back out to deal with life and everything that goes with it. And if it ever was the situation for you, that's the only advice I can give you. And I was like, whoa, I'm going to take that advice. But again, not easy, but she was very certain about it. So, my point to, showering people with love, just don't let it end just after the service. Let it keep just a little touch here and there. They will be very happy and they won't feel like they're just dropped off. Things I have learned that have worked over the last 10 years working in the largest funeral home, helping families prepare for loss, and also working with families at the time of a loss. These are the things that I found that have worked. The more families involved in the pre-planning process, the better. I When I make an appointment and I know that they're bringing their children or they're bringing their grandchildren or they've got their siblings coming in, I couldn't be more thrilled because the more love around the person making the prearrangements, it helps everyone. It simply answers a lot of questions that we have. We just don't know how to ask them yet. But we want to know. Gosh, I see a lot of questions coming in here on the, let's see, what if they don't want the constant contact after? Great question. I would say then be okay with that. Just don't take it personal. But at least you put some effort to see if they did, to check in with them, just to see how things are going. I do care calls all the time. And as much as I think that they don't want to answer the phone, by time I'm done, I just say, I was just thinking about you. If there's anything you need, let me know. And they appreciate it because, see, they are used to not having people. That can change. We're going to both change through this process. There's not going to be a good answer right away. It's been a silent conversation for way too many years. We're just getting to touch the surface. I think if we just keep talking openly and ask these great questions that are coming in on the chat line, it's just brilliant. That's how we're going to get to where we want to be about mortality and normalizing it. Giving every person permission to go when it's their time. Oh, that's a hard one for me to even say because I've been with people that I don't want them to go. I think about my own close family. Like, I don't know if I can give them permission to go. But you may have heard where people wait until their loved ones get there to say their goodbyes. Um, there's got to be something with that, far beyond my understanding. But giving people permission to go when it's their time, like the woman at Albertsons who felt that she didn't have permission to go because her family didn't want to deal with it and didn't want to talk to her about it, could have made a difference for her not to feel so bad about what was going on that she had no control over. So I think just giving people permission to go when they want to go or when it's their time to go and finding some peace in that through the grieving process, I think will start helping us to do the same thing. So giving people permission to go when it's their time. I've got people who don't want to go who are going, and I have people who want to go and they're not going. It's simply just saying, I acknowledge your life. I acknowledge who you are as a person. Uh, like I said, calling, texting, just showing up sometimes at the front door. I've done that. Not everybody's favorite, yet at the same time, just kind of breaking up the old routines and the patterns and the conditions of before, I don't think work as well. There's never been a time that a person, unless there's really stuff going on that they don't want you to be a part of, they'll tell you. But if you show up at the door, maybe with a flower or a balloon or just something to say, look, I haven't heard from you in months. I just wanted to see you. I just wanted to say hello. They'll shut the door on you if they don't want you. I believe they would just definitely let you know. And again, don't take it personal. It's just where they're at, and it's okay too. Being honest about saying, I don't know what to say. So powerful. I have said it, and I've seen other people say it, and it's like, whoa, it relieves the pressure. It kind of takes that 10 seconds of uncomfortableness of not knowing and then saying, I don't know what to say, to, oh, we can breathe and now we can talk more openly because we don't have to add the answers on this. We just have to keep asking great questions. We'll get the answers, we'll get them together. Talking with others about your loss, educate them on what to do or say. Teach us. I am so proud of my mother who talked about her first daughter passing away at 9 months old to polio. She kept it in for 62 years, and then all of a sudden she talked to us and she shared her story. And that was educating us. That was basically as a mother saying to another mother, listen, if this happens, it's okay to talk about it. That's the educational piece that I want to bring from the funeral homes out into the world so that we can just be better educated about this day, so that we're not in the loss about it and we're not in the dark about it, and that we can just accept each other's loss somehow together and just teach one another that it's going to be okay if we talk about it, no matter what, because we can't promote it and we can't delay it. It just happens when it's going to happen. It's out of our control most times. And we just want to be together on this. That's my goal, is just fill in these gaps that keep us all separated and figure out how we can get through this all together. I want to talk about the 5-second rule. I'm going to bring that up in every show. The 5-second rule has been so powerful for me. It's so simple. It's simply just taking the FIVE. The F is for favor. The I is for inside. Favor inside. We are important. When we get out on the roads, just ground yourself for 5 seconds about the facts of mortality, that people do die, and get grounded. You'll be kinder on the road. You'll see other people starting to be kinder. As you're letting people in, they're going to let people in. Doesn't work 100%. It's not 100% proof. But I have witnessed where I have been gentler on myself. I'm also being more aware of just things I eat. I love food. I love Starbucks. Who doesn't? At the same time, though, maybe once a week or twice a week is okay, not every day. So, favor inside. This is what's going to keep us alive. So, just favoring it, taking care of it. And then also value, the V for value, and the E for everyone and everything. When we do that, it does put us in a place of being grounded in gratitude, and being grounded that, like my mom says, she said, listen, if your feet hit the ground, it already is a good day. And I use that. If my feet hit the ground, it's already a good day. So that's what I wanted to make sure to remind you of, that 5-second, just the 5-second rule. Apply it first thing in the morning. Take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. And let's just enjoy what life we have left, and also figure out how we're going to continue to keep finding peace in those who have already passed. The upcoming shows, I've got a surprise show next week. On the 23rd, I am going to be bringing in a beautiful woman, Susan Hoy, who is part of the Nevada Guardian, the Guardian Services. So have you been delegated to be the guardian? And then you're kind of questioning, like, what does that mean? What do I do? Well, Susan's going to be here on February 23rd to answer all those great questions. Directives, making sure that people are aware of, like, different things with forms that are important as we continue to get into our vintage years. all of those things that if this conversation's silent, we're certainly not thinking about all the rest that goes with it. And these are important to think about when we can. So those will be coming up. She talks about guardianship, person in estate, Medicaid consultations, probate administration, power of attorneys. Power of attorneys are good for while the person is alive. They are no longer good for when a person passes. The power of attorney passes with them. A lot of people don't know that, and they just assume that they're able to make those decisions for their loved one once they pass. And that's not the case. There are a lot of legal laws around when a death occurs. And this is the place that will give the educational part so that families understand and they're not shocked already on a day that they're already shocked and hurting and not in a logical place. Today's a logical day to get logical information. Consulting with family guardians. Are you again, are you the guardian? What do you do with that? Susan's going to answer all those questions. I'm going to end the show off today with a quote that I thought was so appropriate. This is a gentleman who we all know, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, very difficult day for their family, the day that the accident happened. And you know that information was on media long before all the family knew that he had passed. And that's why I'm closing it out with this particular quote from him, because I think it just applies to what it is that I'm here to do with you, and that is normalizing the conversation of mortality so we can just get better etiquette around it. So he writes his quote: the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to be. So think about that for yourself. Just inspire people to be great in whatever they want to be. I want to be. I want to be the person that is always talking out loud about mortality, so we can get better ways to deal with it, not feel alone, and just lock arms and lock hearts on a event that's going to happen to each and every one of us if it hasn't already. So I'll see you back next week. Thank you for all the chat responses. I'll make sure and answer those on the Facebook Live. I always appreciate my people who make this happen, Aaron and John. Visit WWDBTV.com website and also the Facebook, also Permission Mission website is where you can go in and connect with me. Respond to me with any topic that you would like to know more about, any tough topic. We will discuss it together, and have a great and safe week. And we'll see you next week, next Friday at 11 a.m. to noon. Have a great day. Thank you.